I'm Art Anderson. I was the chief engineer on the Crossfire program. The job of chief engineer on the Crossfire entailed coordinating all the styling beyond the concept. We had the concept, it was in the studio. It went to the auto show, and then after the auto show there was a 30-day study commissioned, and I drew the assignment to go do that. We put the concept of the vehicle together, put a business structure together on how to go create the car, tool it, develop it, manufacture it, get a business deal to produce it. And I was responsible to make sure that all of those activities were coordinated and provided the vehicle that we had envisioned that lived to the spirit of the concept. And through the course of generating that plan, the company decided they wanted me to go ahead and follow it through to production and deliver it to the market. So as the chief engineer, I was responsible for making sure that all the different tails and finances and functional objectives of the car were met at the end of the day.
I'm Scott Wilkins. I was the senior program manager on the Crossfire programs. A lot of it is paperwork. A lot of it is to support the program, tie all the cross-functional areas together. A big element of it, especially leading up to launch, is to make sure that we're going to go through all the quality gates and that all of the various steps that were necessary to go through quality gates were met. It's a role that entails working with all the various groups, marketing and sales, after launch with the warranty groups, working with all of the engineering groups, in this case working with the engineers from Daimler as well as working with the engineers from Karmann.
My name is Jeff Reese. I was the development engineer on the Crossfire SRT6. Well, development engineer has to make sure the whole car comes together and meets its functional objectives and works together as one piece of hardware basically. We have another term for it at SRT called vehicle synthesis engineer. That's the term we used at the time, and it's basically to synthesize a vehicle and make sure it has the right character and right performance.
The whole team did quite a bit of traveling back and forth between Auburn Hills and Europe, where we did a lot of the development work and all the tooling, manufacturing of the car. And all of the team were very actively involved in driving the car on the Autobahn, doing all the development, driving the mule cars. We had one favorite, mule number 8, where all of the suspension tuning, riding handling, all developed from that car. It became the mule vehicle for not only the base Crossfire coupe, but also the SRT that followed later. So it was a very, very robust development property for us. But as part of that, all the members of the team, and it was a small team, there were only 7 of us from the Chrysler group that were directly on board full-time with that. And all of us had a big voice in how the car got set up and tuned. All the guys on the team and gals, was full range of speed, full range of handling dynamics, a lot of time on the Autobahn, a lot of time at Papenburg, the test track in northern Germany. And overall, it's a big voice in what happened and a hand in making sure that we got the tuning right to get the sport and spirit of what the image was versus the ride, function, comfort, and sportiness of how the vehicle delivered to the market.
I thought it was a very sharp-looking vehicle, something that was unique. Dodge had Viper. Plymouth at the time had Prowler, but there was no halo vehicle for Chrysler. And I think that was kind of the genesis of the idea, was to come up with something that might be a halo vehicle for the Chrysler brand.
At the time, the only SRT product that was based on another Chrysler vehicle was the Neon SRT4, right? So this was only our second effort making a spin-off from another vehicle, I guess you could say, and it was the first Chrysler one. So we had to define what a Chrysler SRT was. So that was part of the synthesis challenge, is what kind of character should this car have?
The SRT6 was a thought that was always in the mind of the folks behind the program. The powertrain was already available in that platform, and so the thought was that they would bring on the supercharged version as a mid-cycle refreshment of the vehicle. As things went along and the sales of the vehicle didn't pick up as much as people thought they would, then they kind of pushed the program forward to bring it on a year after the launch of the original coupe, and bring it on coincident pretty much with the Roadster program.
We put the bigger tires on, we tuned the vehicle completely unique, we made the body structure, I think, 3 times as stiff as what it originally started. We took the car to places that folks had never envisioned that vehicle platform could go. And I think it created a pretty good benchmark and reference point for other people to work towards. And we see lines of that in lots of other vehicles. So I can tell you for a fact it did capture the crazy styling that was out there in the concept and in the vehicle you see today. You know, people still stop and say, what is that? Where can I get it? You know, and it still gets people turning their heads.
Being an SRT, it had to have excellent performance. Art's group did a fantastic job with the base car, so we're starting with a car that's already very sporty. It's very difficult to to go beyond that, so we did a lot of suspension tuning to make the car handle well. The powertrain was actually heavier than the base car, being the supercharged engine. So we spent a lot of time on the chassis tuning. Our goal was to make this thing handle better than the base car, despite the weight penalty, the heavier powertrain. And the thing is a blast around a racetrack. We really freed the car up with the ESC system. So the Crossfire SRT6, I believe we claimed 330 horsepower, and the Mercedes SLK AMG, which the powertrain was based on, I believe they claimed 350 horsepower. Same engine. And I think we had better cooling, which means if anything, our output should have been a little bit higher.
The interior on the car was kind of a big design statement to start with, right? The outside of the car comes with the inside of the car. It's got the center spine that's on the exterior, also runs through the center of the car. The uniqueness for the SRT6, obviously it got the tag on the seat, so you can see that. We also went with Alcantara on the center panels because it's a little more grippy and provide a little more engagement comfort to the seat. You know, it was a little bit of the subtle points of SRT in the vehicle. The things were really the hallmark of the brand, the badge, the ID on the seat, and the sport performance, right handling performance cues, I think, are what were the big things to capture there. It was not about the big style statement or the differentiation, because the vehicle itself, the base vehicle, is a pretty big styling statement all on its own. And the cues that were there were the exterior rims, you know, we went with the spoked, and then the machine face, little setback from the sidewall on the edge of the rim, which is different than the base wheel, which had the big Euro type spoke that went down to the bead face, and then the spoiler on the back, and then the slots on the front. Basically kind of just mild accents of what the SRT was.
From a customer point of view, the vehicle was very attractive. Certainly when we showed it to the original auto shows, people were blown away that Chrysler would have this kind of a beautiful vehicle. There's a lot of enthusiasm, and we saw that enthusiasm building as far back as 2003, even before launch. We saw that enthusiasm building because they knew the car was coming. And crossfireforum.org had been out there since before we launched. And of course, we watched the forum ourselves as we were doing a lot of the development work to see what the customers were looking for. And then of course, as the vehicle has been out there now for a number of years, the enthusiasm certainly hasn't died down. There's a lot of people out there that love their cars. And that's one unique thing, I think, about the Crossfire owners, as well as owners of other unique vehicles. They love their cars, they maintain their cars, they want to spread that enthusiasm to other people. For whatever small part of that I can provide, I'd like to do that. The intent certainly was there when it was launched, to be a leader in the showroom. People would be drawn into the showroom to see a Crossfire. And initially they were.
Yeah, the thing about a Chrysler SRT, it would be easy to make just a fast car that is luxurious, right? But we want something that really handles well. And I guess the new SRTs have taken it, the Chryslers have taken it a step further with adaptive shocks that can actually give you, a comfortable ride and daily use, but yet incredible handling performance. That was something we didn't have available in our toolkit when we were working on the SRT6. But because of the SRT6 experience, that probably drove some of the later developments on Chrysler SRTs.
Whenever you pass one, I still turn and have a look, see which color combination it is. I can still spot the spring special because of the unique rims, blacked out rims, the red paint, cloth interior. Worldwide, the car was very engaged and loved. It was sold in over 68 countries, right-hand drive, left-hand drive, coupe, roadsters, SRT versions. And in Europe, Chrysler was the #1 selling sports car for 1 or 2 years, I think it was. And in that segment, we did exceptionally well. It parks very well, has the performance they wanted for the Autobahn. In the US, the folks that bought them, they're proud of their cars. I see it on the vanity plates, people tag them, and I share that. I mean, it's a unique club to be in. And I think that the vehicle will wear well over time, and that it will be a real statement that's going to live on for a lot of years in the automotive business. I think it lived up to what was promised there, and hopefully folks aren't disappointed with what they got.